yoga class. You come have a seat in your chair. We start class off in a seated Tadasana or mountain pose. We begin our mountain pose by setting the feet up on the floor so they're firmly planted on the ground. Now, of course, depending on the chair that you have, sometimes our feet don't quite touch the ground. And in that case, you might grab a couple blocks or even a couple books if you have them close by and place your feet up on there. So you do want to make sure that your feet have some support. Then we align the knees right over top of the ankles. Becoming aware of our joints, we take the knees straight forward from the hips, and then we stack our shoulders right on top of the hips. And you can kind of play with that a little bit. If you lean forward slightly, you'll feel weight more in the tops of the thighs. And if you lean back a little bit more, you'll feel weight more on your tailbone. And so we want to center that weight so it truly is coming straight down on those sit bones. And you feel that weight right into your hips. And then you can rest your hands, palms up or down into your thighs or onto your thighs. And if it's comfortable for you, gently close your eyes. If you would prefer to keep your eyes open, do so, but let the eyes go softer. Start redirecting your awareness and your attention inwards. And as you become more attentive to the activities of the inner body, inner mind, inner heart, you might feel the need to adjust or shift the body around. But place yourself now very consciously, thoughtfully, in a well-aligned way, sitting in your chair, lifting up through the spine so you've got lots of space to breathe. And start to tune in to your breathing. Letting all of the activities, plans, sounds, distractions around you start to dissolve into the background as an awareness of your breath grows and moves into the foreground of your attention. As best you can, try not to affect your breathing too much. Try not to shape it in any way, but just notice your breathing. Notice where in your body you can feel your breath. And then give a little wiggle to the toes without actually looking at the feet. Just feel your feet pressing into the ground. So there's a little effort up the legs. Wiggle your fingers, feel your hands. You're not actually looking at your hands, but you can feel them because of the movement. You can feel your hands. And then do the same here for the jaw. Gently wiggle your jaw from side to side. Feel the motion of the jaw joint. Become aware of the jaw and the face. And then wiggle your eyebrows. Become aware of the eyes. Become aware of the forehead. And then all these places that now hold a little bit of your awareness, let them all soften just a bit more. Let them get a little heavier. Laying in a yogic breath now, so a little bit of effect on your breath, starting to breathe in deeper through the nose, letting the belly expand. Then as you exhale, use a little bit of belly strength to squeeze the belly back in and help to empty the breath out. So inhaling to expand. And exhale, gently contract the belly in, empty the breath out. Softness through the throat, softness through the face. Full active yoga breathing. Good. See if you can maintain this active breath throughout practice. And this is a good little tether, a little way to anchor yourself throughout practice, is you check in every once in a while with this breathing. And if you notice that you've lost the yogic breath, you might have fallen back into more of a natural breath, or sometimes a little bit more of a shallow breath. Once you recognize that, lay in this yogic breath again, this deep belly breath. It helps to anchor your awareness in your body as you move. Good. Turning the palms down now onto the thighs. Move the hands forward to hold the kneecaps. Straighten the arms and sit a little bit taller if you can. Again, maintaining that belly breath. Let's take shoulders now. Shrug them up to the ears. Roll them back and let them slide down and come forward. Take the shoulders up and back and then down and forward. One more time like that. Lift the shoulders up, slide them back and roll them down and forward. Now let's reverse it. Take the shoulders back and up, forward and down. Back and up, forward and down. One more time like that. Shoulders go back, they lift up, they roll forward and come down. Give the jaw again a little bit of a wiggle. Sometimes when we move the shoulders, we start to clench the jaw. So let the jaw soften again. Let it hang, the lower jaw hang off the upper jaw. This helps to create ease in the throat. So our breath has lots of room to move. Right? We don't want to restrict the throat through this breath. We want the breath to be quite open and free. So keeping that softness there in the throat, you can start to turn your head from side to side. Just gaining a little bit of motion in the neck. Let the shoulders slide away from the ears and keeping some ease in the throat as your head rotates from side to side. And you're just going as far as is comfortable here. So not forcing anything in the motion, just going to where it feels available. Good. Bring your head back into center. Now, if you have any injuries in your neck or you're caring for any osteoporosis, you might work to stay with that side-to-side motion. If the neck's feeling okay today, tilt your head towards your left. So your left ear is going to come down towards your left shoulder. I'm just going to see how that feels. See what you notice down the right side of your neck. If you're not having much of a stretch there, you might release the right arm down beside you. That will add a little bit of a stretch, kind of gravity taking hold of the arm and drawing it down. Ensure here you're still sitting up nice and tall, shoulders back. Some of you might now bring your left arm up and over, rest it on the right ear. Let the left shoulder drop. Keep that belly breath going. And then as long as there's no injury or concerns for the neck, you might start to explore a little bit of motion there in the neck. And just kind of check out where you need to tilt your head to feel a bit of a stretch in the neck for yourself. It can be a little bit different for every person. So find the place that has the stretch for you. Then stay in that place for at least 3 breaths, 3 full yogic breaths. Then you're going to gently bring the face forward. So you're facing forward. Release your left hand. Let the left arm come down. Slowly lift the head back into center. And feel now. Experience the difference between one side of the neck and the other. And then we'll tilt the head over to the other side. Again, just going into stages. You want to explore and feel each stage. So not rushing yourself into a different stage. Just going one at a time. Maybe you hang out at one for a while. Some of you might take your right arm now over, rest it on your left ear, but only if the shoulder and neck say it's okay. We're not forcing anything here. And you're definitely not using this hand to pull on the head. The hand's just like a little added weight. The right shoulder drops down. And then for some of you, if it's appropriate, you might start to explore a little bit of motion in the neck, just kind of feeling out that sensation of stretch and where it feels most valuable for you today. Where can you tuck your chin or lift your chin where the stretch is sitting in a place that's pretty intense, not painful, but you can definitely feel a stretch. And then you hold there for 3 yogic breaths. Good. Last breath like this. And slowly, if you've tucked your chin in, lift your gaze forward, release the right arm down and lift the head up into center. Again, giving the jaw a little bit of a wiggle. Bring the hands forward again onto the knees. Warm up the knees with the hands. It's very helpful, especially if you're practicing first thing in the morning, to give the joints a little bit of warmth before we ask them to move. And then start to rock a bit on your hips. So you're moving weight from one hip to the other. You're sort of rocking from side to side. Good. And then we'll take that rocking motion into a circle motion in the hips. So you want to feel the motion quite low down. We will get to the spine in a moment. But I want to get our hips nice and warm, get our shoulders nice and warm. These are the two places that really stabilize our spine. They help also our spine to be mobile. So we want to warm those places up too. Let's go the other way with the circle. Same sort of motion in the hips. Good. But nice low motion in the opposite direction. Good. Nice. Coming back into center now. Hands on the knees. Actually, let's give you a couple options here. You can keep your hands on your knees, arms straight. We'll move through some cat-cow. If the shoulders allow, though, maybe today you take your hands around behind you and you hold onto the sides of the chair. That's going to accentuate the stretch through the chest. So be mindful of your shoulders. If that's not available for you, your hands can come around onto your knees. That's absolutely okay. Then from here, we're going to take our cat-cow pose, which is an oscillation of the spine, arcing and rounding. Now be mindful of your spine. Again, if you're caring for osteoporosis at all or injury in the spine, your work might be better suited to try to sit taller and taller. You might do a little bit of motion, might not be too big, but that's okay. A little bit of motion is motion. That's all we're looking for. If the spine allows, you might start to arc and round the back in a little bit of a bigger motion, but only going to where it's appropriate for you. Letting your head and your neck move as well. Feeling the motion in the shoulders, in the hips. Good work. Good. Sitting up nice and tall. Keep a hold of the chair with your right hand if you have your hand back there. If it's not appropriate for your shoulder to reach back with your right hand, you can put your hand on your hip. Release the left arm, sweep it around towards the right. So the left hand's on the right thigh, and gently turn and look towards your right. We're going to pause here for 3 big belly breaths. But try not to pull yourself around into the twist. Just twist to where the spine allows. Okay, you're welcome to stay in the twist just like this for another 3 breaths, or you can bend your left elbow, bringing the left elbow down onto the left thigh. So left hand still resting on the right leg, but the elbow's resting on the left thigh. The right hand is holding the chair behind you. That will deepen the twist for the spine. So be mindful for yourself if that's appropriate, and we'll stay here for 3 more breaths. Good. Next inhale, you're going to start by slowly turning to face forward, and then straighten that left arm as you sit up. Release the arms to the sides. Good. The left hand now comes around behind you, or maybe you rest your left hand on your hip if you're taking care of that left shoulder. And then reach the right arm across the front of your body, so the right hand's on the left thigh, gently twisting to your left. Deep, full belly breaths here. Notice the urge sometimes to pull or push yourself into a deeper twist. Try not to do that. Stay with just the twist where the body can go on its own, and then use the breath to create a bit more space. Now you can stay here for 3 more breaths, or if it feels okay for you, bending that right elbow, resting it onto the right thigh. So right hand's on the left leg, right elbow's on the right thigh, left hand is behind you as you look off towards your left. Meeting that sensation of stretch with deep, full breathing. Good. On your next inhale, slowly turn to face forward, then straighten the arm, sitting up nice and tall, let the arms hang down beside you. Good. Let's do a little bit of motion in the legs. Just check out the hips, see how they're feeling this today. So we're going to lift the knees up one at a time, bringing the feet off the floor. Good. Now your feet might not lift very high. That's okay. They don't have to. We just want to get a little bit of motion going in the hips, helping again to warm up the muscles of the thighs, the hamstrings, the hips. If you're using blocks, this is a good time to move your blocks off to the side and then start to march your feet a little bit wider. Good. Make sure you're sitting nice and tall here. So we're not rounding. We're sitting nice and tall. Still marching the legs. You might march them back into center again. Getting some of that motion in the legs, marching them nice and wide. Good, marching the legs in. Marching them nice and wide. Good. A few more times like this, just getting that wide and narrow feeling in the hips. And again, you're only going as wide or as narrow as feels appropriate for your hips. Let's take the legs a little bit wider now. Just again, as wide as is comfortable for you, and plant the feet down. Turn the toes out slightly. So if you looked at your kneecaps and your toes are pointing relatively the same direction. Good. Hands on the knees. Let's lean forward between the legs. Nice long spine. So you notice I had to adjust myself there so I didn't slide off the chair. So if you need to do that, be sure to do that. Sit a little bit further back. Leaning forward, bring your chest forward so you have a nice long spine. Contain the belly a little bit and press into your feet. Good. So there's a little bit of muscular effort here in the belly, but that's okay. We can still breathe those deep yogic breaths because the breath can still happen in the back of the body. Good. It can still happen in the sides of the body. Now, if you have any concerns for lower back issues, you're going to keep your hands on your knees. If the low back's feeling okay, the arms might come straight forward, or you might even lift them up overhead, pressing into the feet. Good. Breathing in and out through your nose as best you can. Now, if there's any concern with the knees, stay seated. This is great. You can feel there's a lot of work here. If there's no concern with the knees on your inhale, you're going to lift your hips just an inch off the chair. Not very high at all. Just lift them barely off the chair. And see if you can match the lifting of the hips with the lifting of the sides of the lips. Lift up the lips, make a big smile as we work to wake up those leg muscles. Good. Let's take the arms down, sweep them back. Inhale, take the arms up. Exhale, let the arms come down. And then bring them back up. And again, gracefully sweep them back. This time as you inhale, go to straighten those legs. Inhale, sweep the arms up. Reach up, look up. Then exhale, let the arms go. Good. Inhale, sweep the arms up, reach up. Exhale, let them go. Inhale, sweep them up, big motion. Exhale, let them go. Good. Let the arms just kind of swing at your sides. If you're staying seated, that's absolutely okay. You might walk your feet in a little bit closer. For those who are standing, turn your toes forward now. Legs are still quite wide apart. Hands on the hips, and we'll slide the hips from side to side. Good. So if you're in the chair, the motion is more, again, the upper body, side to side. Good. You might choose to stay with the side to side motion, or you might start to add in a circle motion. Good. Try circling the other way. And some of you might move the hips in more of a figure 8-like shape. Yeah. And then try weaving them in the opposite direction, just exploring the ways our thigh bones can move around in the hip sockets. So let's come back into center with the hips. Bring the feet more directly below your hips. Coming now into a standing Tadasana if you're standing, or returning to your seated Tadasana. Palms forward now, shoulders back. Put a little bit of effort into the feet so you feel the strength in the legs. And then if you're feeling steady here, you might even close the eyes. Coming back to that yogic breath. On your inhale, now sweep the right arm out to the right and up as high as is comfortable. If this affects your shoulder and causes any pain, you might take your fingertips to your shoulder instead. Otherwise, extending the arms straight up. Exhale, arc over now towards your left. As you do, keep the weight balanced in your feet. So you're not leaning out to the right. The weight staying pretty balanced in the feet, or if you're seated, the weight staying pretty balanced in your hips. You have the option here to keep the arms as they are, or take that left arm up and hold the right wrist. Just like we did with the head when we tilted our head over, you can explore a little bit of motion now through the upper back, kind of seeing what happens as you move around in small little ways, where the stretch moves to. And can you find a place, a position for your back, where there's a fair bit of stretch there in the muscles of the back? Good. Take your next inhale, press into both feet, rise back up into center, let both arms down. Let's take the left arm now out to the side and up. Again, choosing your arm position to care for your shoulder, and then we're gonna exhale over to the right. Now watch that tendency for the hips to wanna shift around. Keep them over the ankles, good. Again, option is to take that right arm up to hold the left wrist. This is our Halfmoon Pose, creating that beautiful curve through the spine. And then moving maybe a little bit in the back, just a little, doesn't have to be very much at all, to explore some variation in stretch. Finding a position there where there's a bit of stretch for yourself, and then taking 3 full breaths. Good, on your inhale, coming back up into center, exhale, release the arms down. Good, give the jaw a little bit of wiggle, you can shake the body out a little, free it up. Let's move any props you have off your mats. So you've got lots of space. And we'll turn the chair now. So the seat of the chair is facing away from you. And we're gonna place the chair on the left-hand side of the body. So I'm just moving my chair here so that you'll be able to see me a bit clearer. But your chair is on the left-hand side of your body, so your left hand can actually rest on the chair. And you're standing a little bit out from the chair, so there's some space between you and the chair, but your hand can still rest there. Pressing into your left foot, you're in your Tadasana, but you're placing most of the weight now in your left leg. So this is for those who are standing. If you're seated, I'll give you an option in just a moment. If you're standing, make sure to lift up nice and tall, and then we're going to glide the right foot back. Open the right arm up, and we come into angel pose. Be mindful here, often what we do is we sink into that standing leg and we round the back. But let's try to lift up, get as long as you can. Good. If you're seated in the chair, you're going to come to sit to the left side of the chair and extend your right leg back from there. Open the palms up. Good. So for those who are standing, you're welcome to stay just like this in your angel pose. If you want to challenge your balance a little bit more, you might lift your right toes off the floor. Lift the chest up. Work maybe with the hand that's on the chair. Maybe you take a finger off the chair. Maybe you take 2 fingers off the chair. Maybe you hold just 1 finger on the chair. Maybe today you lift that left hand off the chair, open the left arm out to the side like a wing, open the heart, take 1 more breath here, you've got it. If your left hand is lifted, place it back down onto the chair, slowly release your right foot down, returning to your Tadasana. So whether you're standing or seated, you're in your Tadasana now, taking those deep yogic breaths. As you come to the other side, you're gonna either turn your chair around or turn yourself around. So make sure you can still see me, but your chair now is going to be on the right-hand side of your body. If you're seated in the chair, you have now turned yourself to face the right-hand side of the chair. Coming into your Tadasana, you're gonna stand tall and place more weight now in your right leg. So you're leaning a bit to the right. I'm just going to show you here, you want to be mindful that you're not locking the right knee when we come into balance, but the right knee is also not really deeply bent. There's just a subtle unlocking so that we're actually required to use the muscles of the leg and not just compress on that joint. So use the muscles of your leg and slide the left foot back. Open the left arm up. Lift the heart. Good. Pausing here, breathing just as you are. If you're sitting in the chair, you're off to the right-hand side of the chair, maybe taking that left leg back, left arm open, maybe right arm open. For those in the chair, it might feel great to extend the arms overhead. Good. If you're standing and you have your left foot behind you, maybe you start to lift your left toes from the floor. Press strongly through the right leg, point those left toes, open the heart. And now start to challenge your balance with the right hand that's on the chair. Lighten the right hand a little bit more. Some days, just simply thinking about lightening the right hand is enough to increase the challenge of the balance. So wherever you are, you're able to breathe deeply. Steady the gaze. Good. One more breath like this. If your right hand is lifted, place your right hand back onto the chair. Step the left foot beside the right foot. Return to your Tadasana. Take some deep belly breaths here. Soften the jaw. All right, let's take the chair now out in front of you. So the seat of the chair is facing you. Again, if you're sitting in the chair, you're going to sit facing forward in your Tadasana. Interlace your hands, press your palms forward, and sweep the arms up. This is your downward facing dog. If you're standing, you're going to stand facing the chair, folding forward to hold onto the sides of the seat of the chair. Then walk your feet away from the chair, coming into your version of downward facing dog. If you're standing, heels are heavy, hips are coming out over the heels. Let the shoulders broaden across the back. Take 4 more breaths just like this. Good work. Nice. Gaze is forward. Now you're going to take your right foot, step your right foot all the way forward towards your chair as best you can. And if it comes part way forward, that's okay. You can use your toes, inch it a little bit forward if you have the space. Make sure that your right foot stepped out to the right slightly so it didn't land in front of your left foot. There's some space between the feet. And then gaze is forward. Bending now a little bit into that right knee again. We're not going to lock it. We're going to shift weight off of the back foot into the front foot. Straighten the arms and then lift your left leg off the ground. If you're seated, you're sitting tall, lifting the left leg, extending it out. You might hold behind the left thigh for support or let that leg hover, taking both arms up. Good. If you're standing, that left leg is lifted up behind you. Gaze is forward. Again, a little tone of the belly. And gaze is forward. Maybe you lighten the right hand from the chair and extend the right arm forward. Maybe today you keep the right hand on the chair. That's okay. Wherever you are, you're breathing here. Let's exhale now. Bring the right elbow, left knee in together to touch. And then extend it out. Exhale, slowly sweep the knee and elbow into touch. And then reach it out. One more time, nice and slow. And last time we're going to inhale, reach it out. And then release the right hand down. Step the left foot back down at the back of your mat. Step your right foot back. Downward facing dog. So before we go to the next slide, I'm going to show those who are staying in their chair today how to do that curling in from your chair. So if you have your left leg extended and your arms up, you're going to curl elbow and knee across and then reach up. That's just for those who are seated. Good. Nice. If you're standing from here, look forward, step your left foot up
towards the chair. So you're coming from your downward facing dog, stepping your left foot towards the chair. Again, make sure there's some space between the feet. Bending into your left knee, lift the weight off of your right foot into your left foot and lift the right leg off the ground. Straighten the arms, gazes forward. If you're sitting in the chair, right leg's extended, both arms lifted or straight forward. Maybe you hold on to your leg today, that's okay too. If you're standing, right leg is lifted, gazes forward, steady yourself here. You might hold here for the next few breaths. That's great, stay as you are if that feels good. If you want to challenge yourself a little bit more today, you might start to lift your left hand from the chair. Maybe extend it forward. On your exhale, try curling the left elbow, right knee together. Then inhale, extend. Exhale, curling in. Inhale, extend. Nice. Exhale, curling in. Very good. Inhale, extend, reach out, look out. Then exhale, release the left hand down. The right foot comes down nearer to the back as you step your left foot into your downward facing dog. Good. Breathing in and out through the nose. If you're standing looking towards your chair, walk your feet up towards the chair. Take your hands up onto the back of the chair. Pause there. And then slowly start to make your way all the way up to standing. Palms open, shoulders back. Good. Breathing in and out through the nose. In your Tadasana. Good. So for those of you who are comfortable coming to the floor today, you can start to make your way down using your chair for support, bringing yourself down onto the ground, and then coming to lay down onto your back so that your legs can come all the way up onto the chair. Bring your palms onto your belly, elbows resting on the ground, eyes closed. If you're sitting in the chair, you're going to sit all the way to the back of your chair. So again, it could be helpful here to have some bricks to place your feet upon for those who are in the chair, because you're sitting all the way back. Hands again resting against the belly, shoulders soft. Either letting the eyes go really soft or just simply closing the eyelids here, encouraging more tuning in to the internal world, more awareness of what's happening inside the body, inside the mind, and inside the heart. Let's let go now of that deep belly breath, that yogic breath, and return to the natural breath. We're going to do now a few rounds of our rectangular breathing. This is where we breathe in for a set count. We'll pause for a moment at the top of that inhale, then we'll exhale for the same count, pausing for a moment at the bottom of the exhale. Okay, we're going to go like that for a set count, and I'll keep count. And if you start to notice that you feel short of breath at all, or it's tension filled when you breathe, release the counting of breath. Come back to a breath that feels more natural. I will increase the count as we go, but again, only going to a place that still feels okay for you. So not forcing or creating tension in your breathing. So let's start together by just taking as big a full of breath in as you can. And then a big sigh out, let it go. Again, let's take a big full breath in through the nose. Big sigh out the mouth, let it go. One more time, inhale through the nose. Exhale out the mouth. Closing the mouth now, starting to breathe in for 4. So breathing in through the nose for 1, 2, 3, filling up at 4, pausing full. Exhaling 4, 3, 2, 1, emptying out, pausing empty. Inhaling 1, 2, 3, 4, pause. Exhaling 4, 3, 2, 1, pausing empty. Let's go to 5 now. Inhaling 1, 2, 3, 4, filling up at 5, pausing full. Exhaling 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, emptying out, pausing empty. Inhaling 1, 2, 3, 4, filling up at 5, pausing full. Exhaling 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, emptying out, pausing empty. Let's go to 6 now. Inhaling 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, pausing full at 6 there, pausing full. Exhaling 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, emptying out, pausing softly empty. Good. Inhaling 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, filling up at 6, pausing full. Exhaling 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, emptying out, pausing empty. Let's go to 7. Inhaling 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, right up to 7, pausing full. Exhaling 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, emptying out, pausing empty. 1 round at 8 now. Inhaling 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, fill up at 8, pause full at 8. Exhaling 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Empty out, pause empty for a moment. Stay soft and empty here. Now let go of the effort of breathing. Let a natural breath start to settle back in. For those of you lying down on the ground with your legs up on the chair, you're going to bring both your knees now into your chest and wrap your arms around both your legs. If you're sitting in the chair, fold forward, wrap your arms underneath your legs, and then squeeze your belly down into the thighs. Deep, full breaths here into the back of the body. Those who are lying on the ground can gently ease themselves off to one side. Lift themselves slightly away from the ground so you can adjust yourself to lay flat out onto the ground on your back. Make sure the chair is out of your way so you're not going to feel restricted by the chair, and that you're able to lay flat down onto the floor. Arms can rest out to the sides. If you're sitting in the chair with your feet flat on the ground or on blocks, just move slightly forward from the back of your chair and bring your left hand across to your right thigh. Slowly coming back into your seated twist. If you're lying on the ground, you're going to bring your right knee up. Take your left hand across here onto the right thigh and guide your right knee across to the left, reaching your right arm out to the right and looking to your right. Breathing here. Deep, full breaths again. We're not pushing or pulling ourselves into twists. We're just going to where the body will allow and then breathing into that space. If you're seated in the chair, slowly unwind. Take your right hand across to your left thigh, left hand around behind you. Come into your twist here. If you're lying on the ground, as you bring your right knee back up, extend the right leg out, then bring the left knee in. Right hand comes across to the left thigh, And you bring the left leg across the body. If you're seated, slowly unwind, coming back into center, sliding yourself now to the back of your chair. Again, placing books or blocks under the feet if needed. Might even be nice to grab a pillow. You can place a pillow onto your thighs, resting your arms on the pillow. If you're lying on the ground, bring your legs straight out now onto the ground if it's comfortable for you. If that's not comfortable, you can keep your knees bent. Letting your arms rest at your sides. If you wear glasses, this is a nice time to remove your glasses and give your face a few moments of rest too. With a sense of heaviness growing over the eyelids, let your eyes settle back into their sockets. Release all the effort in the body here, all the doing. And start to settle in to a very still and quiet place of simply being. Just for the next few moments of Savasana, come into an experience here of allowing yourself to be just as you are, with no intentions to change or alter your breath, your body, or mind, but to just be with yourself as you are, right here and now. We'll take a few moments like this to be still and quiet. And I'll bring us back out in time so that we can close our practice together. So remaining here in your Savasana for a few moments. Staying just as you are. Allow again, wherever your mind might have wandered off to, allow that place to drift further away, but maintain your presence in your body here and now. Just feel your body either lying on the ground or sitting in the chair without much motion at all. See if you can feel into your feet. Notice where your feet are and how they're positioned. Feel into your hips. Notice the position of the hips, and maybe even notice the weight in the hips. Does it feel equal between both hips, or is there more weight in one hip than the other? And you feel down into your arms and hands, noticing the position of each finger, the position of the palms. Feel into the back line of your body, all the way from the heels to the top of the head. Feel along the back line of your body and just notice how you're positioned along the back. Coming now into an awareness of your head and neck, noticing how the head and neck are positioned. So without actually moving anything at all, just using that internal sensing. Come back into the actual sensation of your body resting here in Savasana. And then lick your lips a little bit. So that's the first movement we'll take. Lick your lips. Bring some saliva up into the mouth. And then swallow. Feel an ease wash over you. You might start to gently turn the head from side to side. Bring a little bit of motion into the neck or wiggle the jaw around. Bring some movement into the face. And start to curl and uncurl your fingers a few times and the toes. Maybe starting to flop the feet in and out if you're on the ground, or lifting and lowering the soles of the feet and the heels, rocking back and forth if you're seated. If you're lying on the ground, take your time to bend your knees and roll yourself over onto one side. Pressing yourself up, coming to sit up either on the ground or in your chair. If you are already sitting in your chair, you can remove any props that you're using off to the side so that you're sitting now forward on your chair, feet flat on the floor, hands together in front of the heart. So wherever you're seated, just make sure you're sitting in a way that allows you to lift up really tall through the spine. Palms to touch an Anjali Mudra in front of the heart. We'll now close the practice together here by bowing down and in towards the heart. So recognizing that we get ideas and signals of actions from all places, sometimes the sensations in the body, sometimes the thoughts in the mind, but most often the directions that come from the heart are the wisest. So taking time like our yoga practice or a meditation practice, or maybe for you simply a walk in nature, where we quiet the body, we quiet the mind, and we start to learn how to listen to the heart. Those are really valuable times. So thank you for carving out some of that time for yourself today. Namaste.